Muggerwump has an idea. As soon as Mr. and Mrs. Twit had disappeared down the road, the monkeys all flipped back onto their feet the right way up. "Quick, get the key!" Muggerwump called out to the roly-poly bird, who was still sitting on the roof of the house. "What key?" shouted the roly-poly bird. "The key to the door of our cage," cried Muggerwump. "It's hanging on a nail in the workshed. That's where he always puts it." The roly-poly bird flew down and came back with the key in his beak. Muggerwump reached a hand through the bars of the cage and took the key. He put it in the lock and turned it. The door opened. All 4 monkeys leapt out together. "We're free!" cried the 2 little ones. "Where shall we go, Dad? Where shall we hide?" "Don't get excited," said Muggerwump. "Calm down, everybody. Before we escape from this beastly place, we have one very important thing to do." "What?" they asked him. "We're going to turn those terrible Twits upside down." "We're going to what?" they cried. "You must be joking, Dad." "I'm not joking," Muggerwump said. "We're going to turn both Mr. and Mrs. Twit upside down with their legs in the air." "Don't be ridiculous," the roly-poly bird said. "How can we possibly turn those 2 maggoty old monsters upside down?" We can," said Muggerwump. "We are going to make them stand on their heads for hours and hours, perhaps forever. Let them see what it feels like for a change." "How?" said the roly-poly bird. "Just tell me how." Muggerwump laid his head on one side, and a tiny twinkling little smile touched the corners of his mouth. "Now and again," he said, "but not very often, I have a brilliant idea. This is one of them. Follow me, my friends, follow me." He scampered off towards the house, and the 3 other monkeys and the roly-poly bird went after him. "Buckets and paintbrushes!" cried Muggerwump. "That's what we want next." "There are plenty in the workshed. Hurry up, everyone. Get a bucket and a paintbrush." Inside Mr. Twit's workshed, there was an enormous barrel of Hug-Tight sticky glue, the stuff he used for catching birds. "Fill your buckets," Muggerwump ordered. "We are now going into the big house." Mrs. Twit had hidden a key to the front door under the mat, and Muggerwump had seen her doing it, so it was easy for them to get in. In they went, all 4 monkeys with their buckets of sticky glue. Then came the roly-poly bird flying in after them with a bucket in his beak and a brush in his claw. The great glue painting begins. "This is the living room," announced Muggerwump. "The grand and glorious living room where those 2 fearful, frumptious freaks eat bird pie every week for supper." "Please don't mention bird pie again," said the roly-poly bird. "It gives me the shudders." "We mustn't waste time," cried Muggerwump. Hurry up, hurry up. Now the first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it all. Smear it in every corner." "Over the ceiling?" they cried. "Why the ceiling?" "Never mind why," shouted Muggerwump. "Just do as you're told and don't argue." "But how do we get up there?" they asked. "We can't reach." "Monkeys can reach anywhere," shouted Muggerwump. He was in a frenzy of excitement now, waving his paintbrush and his bucket and leaping about all over the room. Come on, jump on the table, stand on the chairs, hop on each other's shoulders. Roly-Poly can do it flying. Don't stand there gaping, we have to hurry. Don't you understand that? Those terrible Twits will be back at any moment, and this time they'll have guns. Get on with it, for heaven's sakes, get on with it. And so the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All the other birds who had been sitting on the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards, magpies, rooks, ravens, and many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished. The carpet goes on the ceiling. "What now?" they all said, looking at Muggerwump. "Aha!" cried Muggerwump. "Now for the fun. Now for the greatest upside-down trick of all time. Are you ready?" "We're ready," said the monkeys. "We're ready," said the birds. "Pull out the carpet," shouted Muggerwump. "Pull this huge carpet out from under the furniture and stick it onto the ceiling." "On the ceiling?" cried one of the small monkeys. "But that's impossible, Dad." "I'll stick you onto the ceiling if you don't shut up," snapped Muggerwump. "He's dotty," they cried. "He's balmy, he's batty, he's nutty, he's screwy, he's wacky," cried the roly-poly bird. "Poor old Muggles has gone off his wump at last." "Oh, do stop shouting such rubbish and give me a hand," said Muggerwump, catching hold of one corner of the carpet. "Pull, you nitwits, pull!" The carpet was enormous. It covered the entire floor from wall to wall. It had a red and gold pattern on it. It is not so easy to pull an enormous carpet off the floor when the room is full of tables and chairs. "Pull!" yelled Mugglewump. "Pull! Pull! Pull!" He was like a demon hopping round the room and telling everyone what to do. But you couldn't blame him. After months and months of standing on his head with his family, he couldn't wait for the time when the terrible Twits would be doing the same thing. At least, that's what he hoped. With the monkeys and the birds all pulling and puffing, the carpet was dragged off the floor and finally hoisted up onto the ceiling. And there it stuck. All at once, the whole ceiling of the living room was carpeted in red and gold. The furniture goes up. "Now the table! The big table!" shouted Mugglewump. "Turn the table upside down and put a dollop of sticky glue onto the bottom of each leg. Then we shall stick that onto the ceiling as well." Hoisting the huge table upside down onto the ceiling was not an easy job, but they managed it in the end. "Will it stay there?" they cried. "Is the glue strong enough to hold it up?" "It's the strongest glue in the world," Mugglewump replied. "It's the special bird-catching, bird-killing glue for smearing on trees." "Please," said the roly-poly bird, "I have asked you before not to mention that subject. How would you like it if it was monkey pie they made every Wednesday, and all your friends had been boiled up and I went on talking about it?" "I do beg your pardon," said Mugglewump. "I'm so excited I hardly know what I'm saying. Now the chairs. Do the same with the chairs. All the chairs must be stuck upside down to the ceiling. And then their right places. Oh, do hurry up, everybody. Any moment now those two filthy freaks are going to come rushing in with their guns." The monkeys, with the birds helping them, put glue on the bottom of each chair leg and hoisted them up to the ceiling. "Now the smaller tables," shouted Mugglewump, "and the big sofa, and the sideboard, and the lamps, and all the tiny little things, the ashtrays, the ornaments, and that beastly plastic gnome on the sideboard. Everything, absolutely everything, must be stuck to the ceiling." It was terribly hard work. It was especially difficult to stick everything onto the ceiling in exactly its right place, but they got it done in the end. "What now?" asked the roly-poly bird. He was out of breath and so tired he could hardly flap his wings. "Now the pictures!" cried Mugglewump. "Turn all the pictures upside down. And will one of you birds please fly out onto the road and watch to see when those two frumptious freaks are coming back?" "I'll go," said the roly-poly bird. "I'll sit on the telephone wires and keep guard. It'll give me a rest."